Hey y'all, I was not even going to do a video today. My doggy's here giving me some love because I have so much to do, and I'm just having kind of a crappy freaking day. And I thought, you know what? There's probably some other folks out there having a crappy day too. So let's, jump on and do a quick video and talk about it. Wow. I listened to part of that Georgia thing this morning. Like, they're just giving each other high fives on how great of a job they've done cheating. Like, they're all like, oh, we don't have any election fraud in Georgia. Georgia has perfect elections. There is no way that we would have any fraud here. We have all these systems and checks and balances in place, except for the ones that you want us to have in place, and we don't think those are important. We don't think it works to check signatures with the ballots, and that doesn't work. We don't, I mean, technically you can connect the Dominion voting machines to the internet, but we don't do that. We would never do that. And hey, don't worry about it, because we've already verified that those machines were working great. So nothing to see here. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I have never in my life seen people fight so hard to cover up cheating or not, right? Like, okay, let's say for the sake of argument, the election was 100% legitimate. Like, everything that has been a crazy anomaly is just that. It's just a crazy anomaly. The fact is, most people in America hate Trump. He has a solid base of supporters, but there's really not that many of them. And he lost, fair and square. And yeah, there's some anomalies. There's some abnormalities. Well, whenever you have 75 million people, half the country saying, well, yeah, there's some anomalies. Can we check it out? Why wouldn't you be like, yeah, right on. Let's check it out. We know for a fact there was no cheating. We know for a fact everything ran the way it was supposed to. We know for a fact that these results are 100% accurate. Let's do it. Let's go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, so half of the country can rest assured that their votes were legitimate, all the votes were counted correctly, and this really is the way it's supposed to be. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Instead, they just keep covering things up, failing to cover it in the media, censoring any dissent on all forms of media and social media, threatening people, harassing people. Like, it just doesn't make logical sense. If you know you did not cheat, you should be falling all over yourselves to prove yourself to 75 million people who think you did cheat. And actually, it's more than that, because I just saw a bunch of stats saying that even 30% of Democrats thought they cheated. So it's not just crazy Bible-thumping, gun-loving, racist, white privilege, what else do they call us? Trumpets, Trump lovers, right? Deplorables. It's not just us. 30% of Democrats think y'all cheated. So why wouldn't you do whatever you have to do to clear that up for the country? So you don't have half the country, more than half, PO'd, right? I mean, the only reason I can think of why you would not do everything in your power to make sure that people understand that there was no cheating and that the election was a perfect election. Maybe you cheated. Maybe you cheated and you're afraid of getting caught. That could possibly be what's going on. I've listened to about 16 hours of eyewitness testimony now. some of these folks are pretty impressive credentials. Some of these folks are like, spent their lives working with high tech in the military. Like, they say these voting machines, they not real secure. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's pretty easy to cheat with these voting machines. Some of them saying that's what these machines were designed for. These particular Dominion voting machines were designed to cheat. That's how Chavez won. That's how they destroyed Venezuela. How they went from an amazing capitalist country where everybody was thriving and life was great to a socialist shithole pretty much overnight. Because they cheated with the software. And then China bought the software. Apparently, spent like $400 million on it in October, before our election. So I'm just saying, there's a whole lot of people who think this election was not kosher. And instead of standing up and saying, look, we'll open everything up. You want to do a forensic audit on these voting machines? Do it. Because we know for a fact these machines are secure and there was no cheating. That's not what they're doing. They're erasing the hard drives. They're stealing the voting machines away, making sure nobody can get their hands on them. I don't know. That sounds like what cheaters do when they're afraid of getting caught. If you want to answer the question about these mail-in ballots and if they're accurate, like, match up the signatures. But that's not what they want to do. It'd take too much time, be too challenging, too difficult. Sounds like people who are afraid of getting caught. Some folks have even said maybe we should just, redo. Let's have a redo. Oh, no, we can't do that. That would be too expensive and too time consuming. We can't do that. Yeah, I think you could. I think you don't want to, because I think you're pretty sure the outcome would be different. You were positive that your guy won by these incredible margins. If you were positive that all these anomalies, the things like in 100 years, an incumbent who's had more votes than the first time they were elected has won. Like, President Trump had like 11 million more votes than when he was elected in 2016. In 100 years, the incumbent in that scenario has won. Not this time. Joe Biden supposedly had more votes than Barack Obama, who by all accounts was one of the most popular presidents in the whole history of the country. People like Joe Biden better. Joe Biden, who hid in his basement through the whole election thing, who had rallies where 15 people turned up. Was afraid to have a revote because it costs too much money and too hard to do. Maybe it's because you cheated. You're afraid of getting caught. I don't know what's going to happen from here. Like, things are crazy. And here's why I'm a little down today. I'm not down so much because of that, although it is very, very frustrating to see so many people so willing to lie and cheat and really, really over this whole mainstream media propaganda, Pravda style. Like, I'm just sick of it. Just tired of it. Just want my country back. But while all that's going on, then I, like most of you, I'm sure, have other stuff I'm dealing with. So we've been trying to get Jacoby's disability, and again, Jacoby gives me permission to talk about this. I don't want y'all to think I'm just out here spreading his business. Trying to get Jake disability benefits. And it's very, very challenging once they turn 18. And we actually had started this process whenever he was like 10 or 11 and had gotten almost all the way through it. And then that's when Jake and I left Arkansas and went back to Las Vegas. And so it just kind of fell by the wayside because you have no idea how complex this process is. Like, I don't understand how illegals get all this stuff, get, you know, disability and all these benefits and Medicaid and all this stuff whenever they can't even speak the language. Because I've been, you know, an American citizen my whole life, and this stuff is challenging to get through. Like, we hired an attorney to help us with Jake because it is so challenging. So here's the latest. Jake was diagnosed with autism when he was 3. He has been in special programs, special classes in school. He started school at 3.5 because we put him in early intervention. Jake has had an IEP every year he's been in school. That's an individualized education plan, which is for children with special needs. I got video of Jake. You all have met him. Jake is a wonderful person, and he is obviously an autistic. Federal government doesn't believe that. They don't believe Jake has autism. They think maybe we all have been lying all this time. It's all a big freaking ruse. So now that he turned 18, he can get $750 a month to live on. So they sent me a letter today. We're about a year into this process, a little over a year. So today they sent me a letter and it said, you must call us immediately. If you do not call us by December 10th, we will drop your case. Since we moved to Arkansas, we actually have a one-on-one person who is in the disability department who can help us. But her phone number was not on the letter. It was a general phone number. So I call the general phone number. I'm on hold for 20 minutes. Finally, a lady comes on and she says, yes, we need to know, are you willing to travel 140 miles or 200 miles? I said, what am I traveling for? For your son, for his disability claim. Now, this is the federal government. Arkansas department representing the federal government, trying to get disability benefits on my 18-year-old son who has been autistic basically his whole life. I just need to know what you want us to come there for and where exactly you want us to go. I kid you not, she says to me, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. I said, you want me to drive 140 or 200 miles and you cannot tell me why or when? That's correct. You need to pick how far you want to drive, and then we will schedule an appointment for you and let you know when it's going to be. But you can't tell me what the appointment is for? That's correct. I swear on my mother's life, my mother, who is one of my very best friends in the whole world, who lives next door to me, I swear on her life, this is an accurate, true conversation. I should have recorded it. So I say to the lady, here were my options. Are you willing to travel 200 miles in December or 140 miles in January? And I say to the lady, it is very difficult to make this choice if I don't know why I'm coming or exactly when. Because if you want to schedule this appointment for the week of Christmas, then I probably would rather come in January. But if you're telling me the next available appointment in January is January 30th, then I would rather come in December so we make sure we get this process moving. And she says, I'm sorry, I don't have that information. It doesn't tell me that in the file. It just says, do you want to come 140 miles or 200 miles? And do you want it to be in December or January? I took a deep breath and I said to her, is there anyone there who can give me more information? And she says, hold on, let me find out. Eventually, she connects me with Jake's regular caseworker, Miss Jill. And Miss Jill says, yes, Mrs. Sandland, I am so sorry to tell you, but all of the paperwork and all of the documentation that you sent in, keep in mind, this all went back basically to the time that he was first diagnosed, is not enough to prove that your son is autistic. We need to have your son evaluated by a PhD who can meet him and talk with him and verify that he is indeed autistic. Now, lots and lots of questions are coming up in my mind rapidly. I've already been on the phone for 30 minutes. I know how this stuff works. You gotta do what they want you to do as quickly as possible, or you get bumped off and now, okay, let's make an appointment to talk again in mid-January, and now the next time we can get an appointment is February or March. I mean, it's crazy. Why this is all very important is because Jacoby cannot get other services until he gets declared disabled. It's not for the money. I know I brought up the money earlier, but I was just trying to make a point. Like, Jake can live with us forever. We will work and build up a fund and try and get this group home started so he's always taken care of. It's not about the money, but it's all the other things, all the other programs to try and get plugged into that require a disability and a Medicaid. Yes, for lack of better phrasing. So I said to Miss Jill, yes, of course, and we'll come as soon as possible. And she says to me, well, because of COVID, now I don't think there are any appointments left in December, and maybe January is the next one, and it could even be a little bit longer. But I will do whatever I can today to get you on the schedule. Now, keep in mind, I don't get to pick the day. I don't get to pick the day. I don't get to pick the time. I just had to say okay, and they're going to tell us when and where. And it could be 140 miles away, or it could be 200 miles away. Lucky for us, according to Miss Jill, they're going to reimburse us for mileage. Like, that's, okay, thanks. And I get it. There's a lot of folks who do not have the funds, that this would be a extreme financial hardship on them to have to make this drive and make this trip. Thank God, we're okay. We can afford the gas to get there and get back. Yeah. So that kind of stuff just keeps adding up and adding up. And it's a lot to get all this straightened out and work through. And then I've got some business prospects, some things I'm trying to get going, some connections I'm trying to make, and there's lots of struggles there. And then I've got people that I care about, that we're in relationship with, business relationship, personal relationship, and they've got stuff going on, and it weighs on my heart, and I'm dealing with that. And then, I had to run a bunch of errands with my mom, and some crazy woman just jumped in line in front of me at the post office and wanted to argue about it. It's just all those little things. Now, I can tell you this. As a Christian, I'm supposed to let all that stuff roll off my back. I'm supposed to recognize that the Father has it, that it is pointless for me to get upset, worked up, annoyed, whatever. And God's not finished with me yet. That's all I'm going to say. I work on it, but I got a long way to go. So you have all this stuff come up whenever you're trying to just get through, your to-do list of what you had that day. I had a to-do list this morning that I've accomplished 4 items on out of 15. And now it's 2:00 and it's going to be time to get my house cleaned up and start dinner and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I am another day behind and another dollar short. And what is with these bastages trying to steal our country away. That's where I'm at today. So, just wanted to jump on, share that with y'all. I know some of y'all are going through the same thing. We just gotta hang in there. We cannot let them get us down. I know it's hard. If you're having a rough day, you're not alone. If you're having a great day, shoot some of that energy my way. I could use it. All right, y'all. I still am working on editing all that other video. I got some drive stuff. I know some of you like to see the scenery. I got some pretty drive stuff. Some intel on, stores and stuff not delivering merchandise, leaving us out in the cold, high and dry. I'll try and get to all that, and that's it for today. I'll catch y'all in the next one.